love America. I love our republic. I believe we're a special nation, sea to shining sea. And the numbers are there to prove it, that this country has revolutionized the world and been a trailblazer. But what happens when you're a great place? The criminals, the control freaks come in and they take it over. Here's a great analogy that I'm going to your phone calls. When my mother grew up in Austin, Texas, back in the 50s and 60s, early 60s, and went to college, there was about 40,000 people here. And she lived down by UT in what you would call basically downtown. The capital was the technical downtown. When I moved here, when I was a junior in high school, there was about 350,000 people here. And now, 20-something years later, I'm 40 years old. It's about 25 years later, 23 years later. There is 1.3 million metro. And it's estimated by 2025, Austin will have 3 million people here. Maybe more. And I have nothing against these people, but they're not what I'd call Texans. The Californians, and I'm broad brushing here, some of the folks from other socialist utopias, that they're fleeing the high taxes, the regulations, the bureaucracy. They're fleeing here with lower taxes, less regulation, and turning it into a hell. Where down the road, I might have to leave. A lot of Austinites I've known have left. A lot of famous people have left. A lot of cool people have left because all the vampires of the nation, all the empty people that didn't think they would be somebody if they couldn't be a Hollywood star or a hip-hop star, have moved to L.A., failed, because it's all a big fraud. Hollywood's collapsing. That's in the news today. Worst summer on record. Because we're in a depression. That's the main reason. And they're moving here like refugees. In fact, they are refugees from trendiness. And they're not changing the culture that destroyed them. They're doubling down. That's the thing about a loser that's never won the lottery but keeps thinking, you know, they're going to get their bills paid off by winning the lottery that's one chance out of 10 million or whatever it is. And if you buy a lottery ticket to have fun, sometimes that's fine. I'm not judging you. Do what you want. But we know about degenerate gamblers and the people on welfare, and you know, the kids are starving at home and mama's there spending half her paycheck on lottery tickets, and when she doesn't get her money back, she goes back in and does it again. We all know, and it's that mentality that I see with people that I know that have actually gone crazy. I want to make a whole film about this if I had the time and energy, where they believe they're going to be rock stars, and when they're not, they go crazy and start announcing they are a rock star and walking around talking to themselves. Or who get a Nigerian email and give $5,000 to it, and then go crazy believing that there really is a Prince Abupi that's going to give them $1 million and their ship has come in. Your ship has come in when you work hard, take action, have good ideas, and work with others to build a system. Ships don't just come in magically overnight. There's not enough slots to be a professional baseball player, basketball player, football player. There's not enough slots to be a dictator like Obama wants to be. There's only slots in having a free, open, trailblazing society and being an honorable person and a good father, a good mother, and building a better world. And that's an inside job. That takes being a moral person on your own. You're not going to get it by going to a name it and claim it church that sits there and tells you, just believe in what we tell you and do whatever we say, and don't get politically involved, and the whole world's going to fix itself. That's like Oprah Winfrey's The Secret that she promotes. You don't just imagine that a well is going to appear in your backyard. You have to imagine that there's water down there, know you're over an aquifer, and then hand dig it down 200 feet, and then you got a well that'll serve 20 generations. You don't just imagine a hole gets dug in the ground. Trust in God, but tie up your camel. I'm going to Chase, Alan, Terry, Bill, Michigan Patriot, and others in a moment. When you hear somebody hang up, that's your chance to get involved on air. But I love this country. But I'm criticizing the globalist, scallywag, carpetbagging, and I don't mean that in a northerner sense. There are smart people in California, smart people in New York, smart people in Michigan, smart people in Indiana, smart people in Florida. I'm not saying Texans are the best of the best or anything. I'm just saying, I thought growing up everybody was like the old-fashioned Texans I knew. Some of them were corrupt and would cheat you, but nobody hung out with them, and everybody wanted to be upright because you were upright, and then society opened up to you because society needs good people. And that's what everybody's looking for, is honorable men to work with and honorable women. But all these trendies think backstabbing, cheating, lying, betraying, making stuff up, being drama queens is how you get ahead. And that's not how you get ahead. It's how you blackball yourself. And America's being blackballed worldwide now from being known as people you could work with and people that would get the job done and people that were tough and smart and had the patents and had the trailblazing and had the bravado and the guts that it took, to now being known as, you don't want to work with Americans. They won't get the job done. They'll stab you in the back. They want a free ride. That's the stuff that third world countries are made of. Class envy, socialism, class warfare, and everything else we see. So when I hear these criticisms all over national news that, you know, Alex Jones loves Pootie Poot and all the rest of it, and Alex Jones doesn't like America because he doesn't want to, you know, fund ISIS or whatever. I mean, give me a break. It's not good for our country to be the bad guy bullying other nations, starting wars, overthrowing Ukraine. That's what happened. Does that mean the Russians are perfect or even good? No, but they didn't start it. And it's in their backyard, not ours. And the same globalist trying to bring down Russia, trying to put a new government in to tell Russians not to have kids. The Russians are down to 1.3 children per parent, you know, per family. There'll be no Russians soon if that continues. I mean, it's simple things like that, ladies and gentlemen. Our government wants us to abort all our children here, but then bring in totally unskilled bots that can be programmed by the state, their new family. This is a sick takeover by un-American outsiders who are totally against our former system of government. That isn't perfect, but let me tell you, is heaven and is utopia compared to what they're creating. Everybody knows that if you feed and domesticate animals, they turn into lazy slobs. Look at the fat monkeys of Japan. Just type that in. Obese monkeys, Japan. And you'll see where the public feeds these monkeys at these watering holes that can hardly walk. They look like the average American. That's what we've become, and I'm going the other direction away from it. Yeah, there are the photos. That top right-hand corner one is the poster child for our country. That's us. And you know what? Let's admit what we've become. I'm going to go to break, come right back with Chase and everybody else has been holding. What do you think the biggest issue is right now? Well, you can talk about the border collapsing and the Russia situation, the Al-Qaeda situation, the dollar being devalued, but who's behind it in every case? Who sets the policy to do it and brags? The Federal Reserve. Who's that? The big mega banks, most of them foreign. Who funds the anti-gun control groups? Who funds Mecha and La Raza? Who funds the abortion? Who funds Heather Has Two Mommies? 99% of the time, it's Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. It goes right down the line, folks. George Soros. These people are bad news. Bad news. And they have hatred for you and your family. And it's time that we shop together. It's time that we promote each other. It's time that we promote our culture of liberty. It's time we tell people about others that are telling the truth. And it's time we shun and don't support the establishment. I didn't even plug anything last hour. This hour is brought to you by MyPatriotSupply.com. /Alex, the best storable foods company out there. Great customer service, non-GMO. MyPatriotSupply.com /Alex or 866-229-0927. But also we have InfoWarsStore.com with the best books, films, shirts, hats, clothing, you name it, to promote liberty, meet like-minded people, and resist tyranny. Got some new shirts out. Check them out at InfoWarsStore.com or Made1776.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? Chase, thanks for holding. What do you think the #1 crisis of this whole bucket of crises is right now?
Well, I don't know, sir. I mean, they're throwing it all at us, but I think just, starting in our own backyard first, allowing the influx of the children, and as Christians, they use our kindness for weakness and give them the germs and everything. I personally think, using the recipe of problem, reaction, solution, say maybe around October or so, or whenever they can say, they've gone through the proper steps, and now they've taken the computer chip. I think that's how they're going to justify chipping the people and getting these phony baloney Christians, the ones that sit up there and look like a bunch of grinning possums on TV, who I guess I can't remember what the scripture is, but it's like whitewashed sepulchres with dead men's bones inside. And it's not. And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging. I'm dirty rags too. But
but you can see the premeditated evil. They're telling us that they want to chip the troops. They want to give them brain chips to make them behave. And, don't give them ideas. I think if they said, we're putting chips in the kids for the children, the churches would probably hail Satan and do it if they were told to by Obama. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. I was in a CVS store yesterday and saw all these anti-Obama cards in there. So that shows how popular disliking Obama is. And I know he's a puppet, but if people can say no to the puppet that was supposed to be our Lord and Savior, according to Time Magazine and Jamie Foxx, we can wake up to anything then. Great points, Chase. Let's go ahead and talk to Alan in Florida. By the way, before we go to Alan, Pew Research report nearly 90% of illegal immigrant children are teenagers. Let's go ahead and go back to the calls. Go ahead, Alan.
I think the #1 crisis we're facing right now is an implosion of the Federal Reserve and the central banking system in the nuclear age. About a week ago, I was driving down I-95. I saw signs for Jekyll Island. I ended up spending the entire next day exploring the island. And to walk around this very beautiful but very creepy place where literally AT&T wireless phones display the wrong time zone, and to know all this is going on in Ukraine and Russia, to know that we've got our bombers loaded, the Russian subs, the American subs are loaded, and to walk into the Jekyll Island Hunting Club Hotel and walk in the room where J.P. Morgan and the representative of the Rothschild family and a U.S. senator and the U.S. treasurer met secretly in a meeting that began on 10/10/10. It just makes it all so real, Alex. You need to go there. If you haven't, it's just overwhelming.
Well, you can rent rooms there where they had the secret meeting back in 1913 to set up the private Federal Reserve, the income tax, and to get U.S. senators to not be elected by the legislature, but to be sent to be federal kings, federal legates. I've been invited to speak there when liberty groups have met there repeatedly. I'm just always tied down running operations here. But that is somewhere I would like to visit someday and broadcast from the Jekyll Island facility and go into the hunting club bar area and maybe even talk to them and broadcast from there, because it's important to realize they met in secret for a reason. Bilderberg meets in secret for a reason, because what they're doing is criminal. Great points, Alan. Terry in Virginia, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Alex. I have two things that are really heavy on my heart right now. One is, of course, the border issue and this formation of the North American Union. Another is I have really had on my heart to issue a challenge to my fellow Liberty University graduates. I am so frustrated with sitting in church, and I love my pastor, and I love listening to the Word, but all this stuff is going on in the world, and it's totally being ignored, you know, within the church. My pastor will mention things every now and then, which I give him some credit, because I think on the side he really is, you know, into some of this, but he's afraid to speak it out in the church because he might, you know, ruffle some feathers or whatever.
Oh, I know. People think it's a smart move not to speak out. That's why we're going to lose everything. People have to speak out about it all and speak out together.
It's like what I told my friend that lives down in Portsmouth. She's, you know, we've been friends for 30 years. And I said, you know, I believe in the rapture, and I believe all the scriptures are being fulfilled. I said, but that doesn't mean that we won't be sitting in a FEMA camp when the Lord comes back. So we better speak up and stand up for what we think is right and stand up for our country.
Well, yeah, what about all the unborn kids? I mean, let's say you're going to get teleported out here next week. What about all the kids getting butchered? What about all the tyranny? Look, it's state-run religion. Hank Williams Jr. is a listener, too, and Hank Williams III. I'm just proud of the fact how many great listeners we've got out there. Hank Williams III is pretty wild, though. I think Hank Williams is pretty wild, too, and then Hank Williams Jr. was pretty wild, so is Hank Williams Jr. the third, or whatever he is. All right, folks, it is, of course, Wednesday, the 23rd day of July, 2014. We're broadcasting worldwide. Kit Daniels has been working on a story. I have a source inside Homeland Security that told me this months ago. And then it was in the news a few weeks ago that the United Nations is saying call them refugees. And the United Nations is advising Homeland Security as if that's where Obama gets his authority to put our military under NATO is from the UN. Congress complains. Obama says fly a kite, jump in the lake, and something else 3 times. Congress says you're not supposed to violate Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution and become the head of the UN Security Council. Nobody ever done that before. And Obama tells them jump in a lake. New American reports UN pushes to designate illegals, immigrants from Central America as refugees. Townhall.com, same deal. Well, we have a Border Patrol source and also another talk show host has another source with the UNHRC that the UN is down there. And I know they sent advisors down there, but the UN is running the show. And because politicians always, when they're doing some type of crime, want to have some other group certify that it's okay what they're doing. And so you go to the UN for that. And so Kit's about to break an article in the next 5 minutes on Infowars.com. I just read over it, and I don't usually approve stuff, but he wanted me to go over it with him. And so that's going up in a matter of minutes at Infowars.com. In fact, Kit, bring Kit back in here. I want to look at that headline before we go live with it. Because again, I'm having to multitask here, and then we're going to your phone calls. Briefly, again, I didn't plug anything in the middle hour, so I'm plugging twice this hour. This hour is brought to you by MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. The best high-quality storable foods out there, bar none, great customer service, non-GMO, high quality, 866-229-0927, MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. And it's not just the quality of the food, it's the great packaging they've got in these plastic tote bags that are even reusable. They're really professional, really nice. And so MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. And then don't forget, we have a 25% special running right now. 25% special running on the fluoride shield that is the nascent iodine with 5 other chelating ingredients to detox the body. And then we've also got the original survival shield, 25% off with it together at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. And the 1776 sale for the month of July obviously ends in about 6-7 days. Huge discounts on all the Made in America apparel, the belt buckles, the Molon Labe shirts and belt buckles, all of it at MadeIn1776.com or just go to InfoWarsStore.com. Yeah, this is an excellent headline. Border Patrol whistleblower, or Border Patrol agents, UN taking control of America's southern border. I know we've got reporters on the way down there right now. We've got our source I need to get you back in touch with just to get more. We need to do blacked out interviews with these people because that has more credibility. It's more theatrical. We got to somehow let people, kind of like Border Patrol told us Kit's in here 4 months ago that their order to stand down, we're busing them in. But no one picked it up. It didn't get any attention until we got the video. So I set a $5,000 bounty. I need to put this down on paper for whoever gets the National Guard grabbing the illegals and then delivering them to ICE and then showing the chain as then the buses roll out a day later. We need to show as people see, Rick Perry's putting Border Patrol down there to be a red carpet butlers for the illegals, okay? So, that came out back in October. So it's more than 4 months. 4 months, if they said it again. So I guess how long it was October? 9 months ago? 10 months ago? So we know this to be true. But the $5,000 bounty goes not just for whoever gets that footage, another $5,000 bounty. We need an article about this maybe tomorrow, codifying it. And my sole discretion, I paid out $100,000 prizes, folks. I pay every one of them. It's real. But in the legalese, I'm the sole person. I will choose if it's real, if it's legitimate, if it's certified footage showing the chain of custody. $5,000, whoever shows that. $5,000, whoever gets video of the UN people and gets them to admit they're UN. And that means after you videotaping them, follow them into a bar at night with a recorder. It means doing whatever you got to do to save this country from the globalists, okay? I mean, this is war, people. This is a war. Do everything that's legal and lawful. But you're going to have to be the human. They have these images of James Bond that beats up 300 guys in a movie and is invincible. That's not how it works, folks. It's regular people getting the job done. You're not going to get some little decoder ring from the CIA. You're not going to meet with the FBI. They don't want you to save the country. Some of their own people might want you to. You're going to have to go out and be a journalist. You can do just as good as we're doing. Who's the guys that got this interview with the Border Patrol head talking about how this is asymmetrical warfare? What, Bonanza Media? Little Bonanza did a first-rate job. You're all media. You're all journalists, but operate one-half journalist, one-half counter-revolutionary spy. And let me tell you, just know you're in the right, be in a good mood, and get the job done. I've snuck into, you name it, folks, secret military operations, Bohemian Grove. Nobody ever got in and out. They arrested scores of people. I'm nothing special, but I knew the mission was important, so I had a lot of confidence to talk to the Secret Service and the rest of them. And I got the job done. And my reporters do that. We're on a mission. Like the Blues Brothers say, we're on a mission from God. And I'm telling you, that's what you got to do. I want the UN on video. And I want the whistleblowers. I want it all. $10,000 in prizes. And I know you don't need the incentive, but it just shows the value of celebrating independent media and the competitiveness of it. In fact, I should have the InfoWars or Alex Jones Prize every year, if we can raise the money, depending on the year, at least $25,000. And have it be a year-long prize like the Pulitzer Prize. Pulitzer was involved in yellow journalism with Hearst. That's what's so funny. It's like the Nobel is a joke. Give it to Al Gore and every other criminal. Yeah, these are the notes from what I said yesterday about it. Anyways, Kit, great headline. Is it going live yet? Not yet. Launch the story right now. Great job. And when you buy the books, the videos, the T-shirts, when you buy the Nation Iodine, when you buy the Super Male Vitality, let me tell you something. The Super Female Vitality with women, made Leanne sleepy at first for about a week. And then, she said it had a different effect. She had to stop taking it. The point is, I don't know one woman that has taken this who hadn't got more energy, more stamina, and other things. So I'm telling you, support the show and get a bottle of Super Female Vitality for your wife or girlfriend, and it will blow you away. And I didn't get into this to sell aphrodisiacs. It was for, it was advertised with the male vitality as stamina, lose weight, work out, feel great. It isn't mimic testosterone. It gets your body to release it. The female vitality, because it's cold-pressed organic, only has 2 other ingredients to the male. And quite frankly, it works on men, too. In fact, the men are now just ordering the female vitality. Just whatever your flavor is, just try them both out. Know you're supporting the info war. So I can have prizes, have reporters. I just want to dominate the enemy. I want to kick their butt. And so tell 5 people a day about the show. Email your friends and family. Post our stories to Facebook, to Pinterest, to... I always have that moment where I can't remember the name of it that everybody uses. That's the Instagram, YouTube. Keep doing it. And we'll destroy their false bots with HUMAT, human intelligence. We will defeat the machines. The war against the machines, by the way, is going on now with these computers and these systems and these megaphone systems and these fake bots in the Pentagon. Now, the Pentagon humans are mad and don't like what's happening, almost all of them, over 85% on the streets, and all the military I talk to, they're good people. That's why they're so freaked out, because they're seeing the HUMAT end where there's checks and balances, and they're bringing in the total digital warmock computers that poses humans online. And that's in the news, declassified, leaked, you name it. We, billions of humans, can overwhelm and smash their system. If you believe we can beat them, if you believe we have the power. Congress, 7% approval rating. Media, 9% approval rating. Darth Vader is now polling higher than all potential 2016 presidential candidates. That's why folks like Putin, because despite the fact he's obviously a thug and probably a killer and a whole 9 yards, he has made Russia better overall, and he runs around shooting guns with his shirt off and dating the most beautiful woman in Russia. I mean, people are sick of Obama, who's running around, telling us to turn our guns in. People want women that are women, men that are men. If you're into something else, that's your issue. I don't hate you. But we're sick of being domesticated. We want John Wayne back. Not that he was perfect, but we want that. We don't want this. Let's go ahead and talk to Michigan Patriot. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Good, brother.
Hey, earlier you had asked what the biggest crisis was, and I'm telling you what my firm belief is, and I have a comment, and I'd like your take on it after I make that comment.
Yes.
I think the biggest crisis we have right now is mainstream media and how they're suppressing the truth and how they're manipulating the populace. And what I mean by that is I was woken up by you, believe it or not, when you let the Kraken loose over at the Boston bombing incident. And that's when I really started looking at independent media. And that changed me dramatically because I started looking at different things. I started realizing that there was more going on that I was being told. And I guess what I mean by all this is if InfoWars did not exist, if Drudge Report did not exist, if these independent media operations did not exist, where would this world be? Where would we be if there was InfoWars back when the Tonkin incident happened, when the Kennedy assassination happened? Where would we be? Well, how different would the world have changed? And I think it's extremely important that people really understand how important your show, Drudge Report, Savage, I really think people really need to understand that, they're getting fed stuff from talking points. And more so now, even because Hillary said, hey, we're losing the info war. They know it. And, I think that's the biggest crisis is with everything going on right now. We have so many problems around the world with Israel right now, with the border, with the economy.
And by the way, there are UN-connected groups that get Hamas to shoot those rockets off so that Israel responds politically. And people say, well, which side are you on? The whole thing's contrived by the puppet masters. We need to start looking at the big picture, not at what we're being told to freak out about. And it's a real tragedy. I hear you, and I appreciate your call. Imagine the world without the printing press. We'd still be in the dark ages. And then imagine where we would be today without InfoWars or Prison Planet or Drudge, or without Ted Cruz or Rand Paul. I mean, we barely beat the gun ban in the Senate and wouldn't have done it without alternative libertarian media and without those senators. And that's what's scary. We're barely beating them over and over again, barely beating them. So they just said, hey, we'll just open the borders completely outside of law. We'll just start arresting Tea Party people outside of law, and admitted we're doing it to persecute them. I mean, because the authoritarian left can't get what they want right now, they're just cheating openly, which is a big risk to them. And again, I'm not romanticizing the Republican leadership either. They're the same group. But they're not in power right now. The Democrats have the ball, and they're running it towards the end zone right now. And we've got to get maximum effort out to keep stopping them. And we've got to get the debate going about what's really going on at the border, that it's asymmetrical warfare on purpose, by design, to wreck the country. And not about these poor teenagers coming up here who I don't blame wanting to be here. It's about a North American Union and a deal with Mexico, the U.S., Canada, and Guatemala to open up the borders and bring in unlimited groups to socially vote to turn the country socialist. Period. Ford Foundation, on record. Congressman Gutierrez, on record. They're coming for us using the cannon fodder. And it'd be like if I was conscripted in Vietnam. I wouldn't be against the Viet Cong trying to kill me. That's the other soldier across the line. But you know what? He's coming for me. And it's militarily done. Gutierrez and others say, our people must all be legalized, unlimited, or you're racist, and we're going to get your guns. It's like no other country acts like this or behaves like this. And again, the government's shutting the power plants off. The government's putting regulations in to make all the factories move. It's asymmetrical warfare. Like I kept saying, Godzilla or Pacific Rim is a fantasy movie about kaijus, big monsters coming out and attacking power plants. Well, why do they attack the power plants? To shut off civilization, to destroy their enemy. When they shut your power plants off, folks, it's like being bombed by Godzilla. I've been all over the Caribbean, and as the crime rate has exploded, most places that were nice 10 years ago, 20 years ago are pretty hellish now. But one place I've been to that continues to be nice is the beautiful island of Grand Cayman. I haven't been to the other little islands, but I went there to check it out. And, of course, it's a place where the elite park their money and a lot of other things. So they don't allow open borders. If you don't have a skill, they don't let you in. They allow some immigration. And they have one of the lowest crime rates in the Caribbean. And the place is clean and nice. And the people are happy. And the people that live there have jobs and are paid well. And they've decided, like Switzerland, to have things be expensive so there's a high standard of living. And then the economy just adjusts to that. The globalists are doing the opposite to us. And I should do a whole documentary piece, showing the difference between one Caribbean island and another. I would compare Grand Cayman to Haiti, that's nearby, and what it's like. Or it used to be Hispaniola, Haiti to the west, to the east, Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic's nice compared to Haiti. You look at satellite images, Haiti looks like it's been bombed, and the other side is nice. It's all what form of government's in place. And the globalists want a Chicago collapsed type. I mean, not just Chicago in general. The collapsed bad areas of Chicago is the dream model for America of the Democratic Party. Bill in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. We'll go to overdrive and take more calls. Bill, go ahead.
Alex,
hey,
first-time caller. Hey, you had a gentleman on from the American Border Patrol a few days ago, and he talked of a system that could detect ultralights coming in over the border and people coming in over the border.
Yes, he's Glenn Spencer. Our reporters are going there right now.
Yeah, I was wondering if that would detect a drone.
If it was flying low, it would, yes.
So you could have it for, like, home protection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think drones have become this icon of surveillance. They're really the icon of the rise of the machines and automation. designing it to displace humans. I'm all for machines if they empower and augment humans instead of suppressing us. It's that the globalists are driving the architecture of the robot revolution.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a couple questions. I just want to go through.
Sure.
The next is I've been sending you some forward some news clips from an Orthodox monk that has been talking about the downing of the plane, and he indicated that Putin's plane was in the area during that.
Yeah, that was first on the Russian news, Interfax, and then RT, but then they came out a week later and said that Putin's plane had not flown that route in some time, about a year, but the rebels could have, or the official government could have done that. But it's starting to become clear that I may have been wrong saying it was probably the Russians and it was by mistake. It's starting to look like the rebels shot it down from the ground or from the air. So I'm starting to lean that direction.
I see. Okay, my next question.
I mean, not the rebels. I mean, they were the rebels, the George Soros Nazi force. Go ahead. I'm sorry. The official Ukrainian government.
Okay, I got one other question. So I'm really shifting gears here. What part of the Constitution gives the guys like Harry Reid the ability to change the law in their favor and then accuse others of violating the law? But what part of the Constitution allows them to do that?
No part of it. It's arbitrary dictatorship, and now a lot of members of Congress are taking my lead, I've said this, and calling him a would-be dictator. Doesn't mean dictator for life, but he's operating as a dictator, so it's very, very serious. I appreciate your call. Brent in FEMA Region 6, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, thank you for the overdrive session today. I really am just calling to ask you a question. I was discussing basically the immigration situation that we're facing right now with the open borders and how the president of ICE and a board of directors member from the Border Patrol came out and said that the borders are wide open and that this is a perfect storm. Now, with our borders being wide open, I'm curious, do we even qualify as the United States of America?
No. Technically, the country is collapsing, and it's run by traitors. And so really effectively, that's why I said this marks the true death point of the country. But countries can be resurrected. They're not like people. So it could be reversed, but Rick Perry's the toughest leader we've got, the national news tells us, and he says Obama's dumb. Obama doesn't know what's going on. No, Obama knows what he's doing. Thank you so much, Bruce, or Brent. Who's up next here? Bruce in Michigan, moving quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Absolutely, the major crisis is nuclear war. I take this magazine called Chronicles, the Rockford Institute. One of their main writers is Sergei Trifkovic. I've been reading him a long time. He says Putin better act in eastern Ukraine or he will be replaced. In either case, we're heading towards a nuclear war. These stinking neocons, within an hour of that plane going down, we're talking about conspiracy kooks trying to keep Putin from taking the blame. That's the difference between now and Syria. I listened to you Sunday. The people aren't going to call in about this like they called in about Syria, and I'm sad to say that. Nuclear war is coming. The neocons have got them hoodwinked. That's it.
Well, yeah, there is that old hatred of Russia, and so people are like, yeah, blow them Ruskies up. And it's just totally mindless. We're run by Nazi collaborator people like George Soros. I mean, literally. And, I mean, why not blame the border on Putin? Why not blame the dollar devaluation on Putin? Actually, they're trying to blame that on him. He's trying to set up bricks to hurt the dollar. No, the Federal Reserve's doing that. Thank you, Bruce. Dan in FEMA Region 5. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello, Alex. Hey, I wanted to talk about disinformation for a minute. I was on a drive back. I wasn't able to get your show, but I did hear this guy, Gary C. Johnson, on WKYT, and he was throwing out disinformation. He was pretty much saying about the airplane. They started their show out like that, and they said, you know, we can't really figure this out. Just best thing you can do is give up, not think about it, and being informed is actually means to be angry, is what they're saying. So I want to throw this out, and I don't know how.
I agree. No one should be involved. Leave the border open. It's all Putin's fault. Turn your guns in. I agree with those talk show hosts.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, it's just They didn't have any call in. You couldn't call and dispute anything that they had to say or anything. And I just want to throw it out there, Gary C. Johnson, WKYT. And
well, I appreciate you for the call. And I'm out of time. Sorry to Alex and others. Great job, crew. I think I've heard of somebody like Tokyo Rose would say similar things. Lay down. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay unless you don't lay down. The most lazy propaganda is tinfoil hat, flying saucer, or that I'm a fearmonger. Like they say, Drudge is tabloid with no proof when we links to everything. So they're indicting themselves. That's just to make mindless people feel good. I'm effective because I'm getting people awake to the crisis, not fear-mongering. The globalists are fear-mongering, saying lay down or we'll call you names. People aren't scared of the media anymore. They don't care what these people say. We're going forward. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. We're going to be intensifying our efforts to awaken free humanity to the scourge of the globalist in the month of July. And starting this July 4th, we are going to slash prices in a celebration of true Americana, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence on all of the Made in America products that you will find at madein1776.com or InfoWarsStore.com. We're talking about Made in America belt buckles in brass and nickeled brass that state it loud and proud. Molon Labe. That's why we have the best-selling Made in America men's and women's Molon Labe Infowars.com shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a win-win. You vote with your dollars. You support the most hardcore organization out there for promoting true ideas of libertarianism, constitutionalism, basic human empowerment. But more importantly, you get T-shirts and belt buckles so you can meet like-minded people. So you have a conversation starter with friends and family and coworkers. We are reaching out to each other. And you also throw it in the face of the anti-gunners and the rest of the parasites out there that you're a free man and woman and that you're not going to be a slave, that you're not going to be intimidated to shut up by their tyranny that they call political correctness. That's why in the month of July, we have got giant specials on everything at madein1776.com. But to expand the InfoWar, we're offering the biggest special in the history, 13 years of PrisonPlanet.tv, our multimedia platform. We're offering the equivalent of more than 5 months free right now when you get a membership at PrisonPlanet.tv, and you get 11 memberships that can be used with the same username and passcode so you can share it with friends and family. Now is the time to fund the war bonds. Now is the time to fund the InfoWar. Now is the time to get aggressive. Now is the time to double down. Now is the time to realize you are the people that made the InfoWar so successful and one of the leading lights worldwide against tyranny. You don't stand behind us, you stand right beside us, and I salute all of you on this July 4th, 2014, and going forward in the month of July and onward. This is about freedom worldwide and that desire for human dignity and self-determination that beats in the human breast. We are brothers and sisters together in the true spirit of liberty and the animating contest of liberty. And so I quote in closing the great Thomas Jefferson that I have sworn on the altar of God resistance against every form of tyranny. And never forget, if you are watching or listening to this transmission, you are the resistance.